List group label is both a vocabulary and a comprehension strategy, and there's really 3 steps. Brainstorm a list of related words, group those words into subcategories, and then label the groupings with descriptive titles. This strategy is an excellent way to help kids develop categorizing skills, build background knowledge, activate critical thinking skills, and grow vocabulary. Let's watch as Cathy Doyle uses the strategy with her 2nd grade class.
Okay, so we're going to learn a new strategy called list group label. And you've had a bunch of practice grouping words together and seeing how words connect to each other.
In order to use this strategy effectively, it's necessary to first select a concept to explore. It can be from something that has been read or from a unit of study.
So last Monday, we read a story called The Gardener, and it was full of garden words. So I'm going to think about gardening words for a minute. When I think of gardening, I think of...
The first step is to brainstorm a list of words related to the topic.
I think of seeds. I think of lettuce. I want you to think about gardening words, and I want you to raise your hand and help me brainstorm some other words that come to your mind when you think about gardens. Bella?
Leaves.
Leaves. Savion?
Minerals.
Minerals.
Once there is a nice long list of words, it's time for step 2, grouping.
Now it's time to group these words. I'm going to think about these words and think about how I might put them together if I wanted to cluster them. So the first one I'm going to put on this list is soil. I'm going to put it here. Soil. And let me think of some other words that go with the word soil. I'm going to put sunshine because I'm thinking about things that plants need, soil and sunshine. Let me look at the list and see what else plants need. Water. I'm going to put water over there too. There's no right or wrong answer. I'm just kind of thinking about it. As long as I can explain why I put those words together, then they go together. Who can think of another word that they might want to group together? Virginia?
I think tomatoes and lettuce and roses should go together.
Tell me why.
Because they all come out of the ground.
The third and final step is labeling the groupings with headers. These titles should be related to the reasoning behind each cluster of words.
I'm going to write a little header here that says what? What should I say? You just said it pretty perfectly. What should I write?
Things that come out of the ground.
Now that the entire strategy has been modeled, it's time to let the kids take the wheel. Cathy has decided to have the whole class work on brainstorming together before the students move into their small groups.
Okay, now I want you to get a chance to think up some words and move the words around and connect words. And this is going to be fun. So I'm going to write insects here, and now you need to do some brainstorming. Raise your hand and let me know of any word you can think of that relates to insects. Margot?
Bees.
Bees. I'm going to add the word sting. Kanijah, what are you going to add?
I'm going to add butterfly because they have 6 legs.
Okay, I'm going to put antenna. I also heard you say the word legs.
Yeah.
I'm going to put legs and butterfly. Okay, I want you to stop for a minute. I know you're so excited, but you're going to get a chance now to group these words together. And if you have more insect words, you can throw them in your groups. You can write them right down in your groups. So now here's the fun part. You are going to get a piece of paper that looks like this, a big chart paper, and you will get a chance to try grouping these words together. Just remember that as long as you can explain to your partner why it goes in a certain group, then it fits there. There's no right or wrong answer for this. It's just an opportunity to connect words to each other and help your vocabulary grow.
As the kids work in small groups, it's important to both guide them and let them work independently.
What insects do? What do insects do? So they bite, crawl,
Can I give you guys a suggestion? It looks like you've already started naming the headers. Why don't you play with the words first and see what you come up with? Look up there and find 2 words that go together.
Wings,
Wings and what?
legs, eyes.
Wings, legs, and eyes. Think about those. Where would you put those words? Wings, legs, and eyes. Part of this strategy requires you to talk together before you write. To talk and explain why, and if you're all in agreement, give a thumbs up and then go and add it to the list, okay?
After the groups have finished labeling, give them a chance to share their work with the whole class.
I want to talk about some of the groups and the names of the groups, the headers. Will you guys read your categories? Tell me what your groups are.
The first one is insects. And here's another one where insects live.
Kanaisha, can I ask you to read, what did you put in that group, where insects live?
We put like some insects live in the forest, or like the bees live in a hive.
In a hive. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
So we started out with a couple words, like this big word insects, and then ladybugs, and look at how our words grew and grew. You even added so many to your poster. Why do we think about words? Why? What's the point? Why do we spend so much time thinking about words? Savion?
So when we get older, we can use the words and know what they mean.
To use the words. We want to use words, and we'll know what the words mean, so it'll make sense, and we'll be smarter, right? Yeah. Does anyone else have an idea? Why do we think so much about words? Maya?
When we're reading a book and we see the word in the book, we will say like, I remember that word, we studied it.
Yes. Maya, that's exactly it, because you'll come across words in books, and as you get older and older, there's even more words in books, and you'll know what those words mean, because you'll be connecting those words to words you learned in 2nd grade and words you already knew up here.
List group label is a strategy that can be used across grade levels and across content areas. In using list group labels, the categories can be defined ahead of time by the teacher, or as you saw Miss Doyle use, she let her kids discover the categories. If you're working with non-readers or second language learners, you can also have students sort pictures into groups. It needn't be words. List group label is a really versatile strategy that I think can find a way into your classroom.